Elden Ring is a complex work of art, one that is very easy to get lost in. The narrative of Miyazaki's magnum opus is similar to a hedge maze. The further you venture into it, the less clear the path through becomes. The lore of this game is quite possibly the deepest I have ever encountered, giving rise to endless theories and speculation. However, this is not just another lore video. You see, I have come to the conclusion that the community has become so obsessed piecing together the history of this fictitious reality that we have lost the meaning of the story. I hope that this video not only serves to convey my opinions and ideas, but also to start a conversation of the moral and philosophical implications of From Software's amazing tales. Upon completing the game and researching the lore, the themes of the narrative start to become remarkably clear. Elden Ring at its core is a game about death, decay, the passage of time, and the duality of the self. Those who have not experienced the game may scoff at the notion of such high concepts being integral to just a video game. To which I would remind the skeptical viewer that these characters and world were created by the great George R.R. Martin of Game of Thrones acclaim. Themes of the passage of time, death, and decay seem to be prevalent throughout all of Miyazaki's work. However, I would like to focus on the previously mentioned duality of the self. We can see the idea quite literally in the narrative, with both Marika and Radagon being two different physical manifestations of the same person. In addition, we can see it metaphorically, with almost all the other demigods having two different personas, whether it be Melania being both Blade of Miquella and Goddess of Rot, or Godfrey being both First Elden Lord and Hoarah. This concept can be traced back to ancient Greece, with the Olympians having both a pure godly form as well as a mortal visage. These stories were used to make sense of the difference between the id and superego, to wrap the concept in metaphor as to make it more digestible. In the game, we can see this idea being used to full effect. Take for instance the two previously listed demigods. With Melania, her persona of the Blade of Miquella represents her superego, her devotion to her brother, while her form of the Goddess of Rot is pure id, a bestial part of herself she cannot control. It is quite the opposite for Godfrey. With him, his more godlike visage of First Elden Lord serves as a representation of the superego, while his form of Hoarah is complete id. Viewing the game through this lens of duality helps us begin to make sense of the narrative. I do not believe that there is a moral message to the story, but if there was one, I would say that it would have to be that we must accept both sides of ourselves so that they may work in unison. All of the many cataclysms that the lands between have faced can be linked back to demigods and champions denying parts of themselves. Even the catalyst of the whole game, the shattering of the Elden Ring, can be seen as being caused by the dissonance between Marika and Radagon. In conclusion, the point is not to find the end of the hedge that is Elden Ring, but to enjoy the journey through it, arriving at your own conclusions perhaps, but more importantly, experiencing it. And them's the facts.